This is Serve. Let's go.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the College Football Weekly Matchup. Season preview. We're finally here. We got 19 days till the college football season starts. Obviously, it's just the three of us tonight. We haven't been on in a while. Looking forward to, a good season. We wanted to do more in the off season, but everyone was busy and whatnot. But Josh will be back. He will return in the future. He may not be on every podcast, but we do have the three amigos here. We got Preston with us in a different location, it looks like, and better Wi-Fi hopefully this year. We're hoping for better Wi-Fi this year. And, I guess he's hoping for Clemson to have a good year this year. Not so great last year.
Are we going to start this not even 2 minutes in?
We are.
10-2 is a bad year? Okay.
We're going to start. Hey, if you don't win the national championship, it's not a good year.
Okay.
All right. Preston, but how much you're looking forward to college football this year?
I'm looking to it, a lot, honestly. I think we've got a great team. I think we're getting all of our offensive coordinators back. So I think there's, a lot of good ahead and a bright future. So
how was your, off season of college football? The Braves are playing right now. Braves are playing good. Best team in baseball, probably. I'm guessing best team. By far, I would think.
Best record currently in baseball. They're not playing the best right now.
Yeah, maybe not the best in the second half so far, but, how was your off season of, college football and whatnot?
It's been pretty good, kind of getting into a rhythm, post school. So, trying to find out what I'm trying to do.
And we got this man here to the, I guess, right of me. He's left him whatever on the screen. Back with us again this year, looking for a big year from Florida. His favorite team's Florida. Obviously, if you're not here, I'm a Georgia fan. Preston is a Clemson fan, and Bryson is a Florida fan. Josh, who will be here in the future, he is an Alabama fan. But Bryson, how much are you looking forward to college football this year?
I mean, it's
okay. You ain't gonna let me finish, but go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just.
I was going to say how much you look forward to college football and how was your off season?
I cannot wait. It's like Christmas, in the summer. Best time of year. I mean, waking up, every Saturday, seeing the boys at Home Depot. I mean, I just cannot wait. Florida this year, I don't know. We're gonna struggle. I ain't gonna lie to you, boys. I mean, we got a good recruiting class, coming up. We got a lot of young guys. Bill Napier's doing. I'm proud of him getting all these recruits coming. Overall, a lot of work to do. A lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work to do indeed. Obviously, Georgia, I'm looking forward to it. Coming off 2 national championships, going for a third. What can you say to be the best? To be the man, you got to beat the man. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Alabama used to be the man. Now Georgia's the man. I don't know what to tell you. Just too dominant. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to a great season. Obviously, if you don't know, I'm a big NFL guy, but I am a college guy too, so I'm looking forward to both. We will be doing an NFL show here in the next week or so as well. But let's get into some of the college football news we had going on, recently in this offseason before we get into the games. We are going to go over our favorite, like we did last year. We went over our favorite team schedule and whatnot and just predictions for overall for Florida, Clemson, and Georgia. And we'll look at Alabama's schedule too, even though Josh is not here. We'll look at that as well. But, yeah. Obviously, the recent news we had going on was all the conference moves. We have Texas and Oklahoma moving in here in 2024, moving to the SEC. But we had a lot of other teams moving. Oregon and Washington finalizing a deal to join the Big Ten. And obviously, we've had some talks with Clemson, possibly moving here. Preston, all the moves we have a lot more moves than that. But Preston, what's some of your thoughts on the moves and some of the changes going on right now?
It's definitely something that's new. It's going to, change the landscape of college football. That's for sure. I mean, road trips just got a little bit longer for some of those West schools playing in the Big Ten. I think it can be a mixture of good and bad. I mean, really, we won't know until next year when Oklahoma and Texas are actually the first schools to actually integrate into the SEC. I think a couple of other schools are going to make 2024 their first year in a new conference. So it's going to be a new change. I mean, you're going to see new patches on new on jerseys that primarily we're used to seeing Big 12 or Pac 12. stuff like that. I think within the next 5 or 6 years, we might only see 2, maybe 3 major conferences in college football. And we'll just have to see how that pans out. But as of right now, it's exciting. We'll see. Right now we're in the ACC, but who knows what happens next year.
Oh, so if Clemson did move, where would you think? What could you see them moving to, and what would you like, I guess?
Well, whoever they move to, who I would like them to see them move to would either be obviously the SEC or the Big Ten. But with the contract that the ACC has locked these schools into, it's just such a huge financial burden for them to be able to break it. So whatever conference, if they really, really want them, is going to be willing to help pay off some of that debt. It's going to, get them into those new conferences. Geographically, the SEC makes the most sense, but if you're going to have power conferences, it really doesn't even matter at that point when you got California schools playing.
And you get the talk. I think you froze a little bit. Oh, you're good. And you get the, me off your back, I guess you would say, the people, the SEC fans off your back. Would that be, good, big change for you, I guess?
No, I'm not really worried about it. I have a pretty good record against the SEC.
I don't believe you're going 11-2 no more, but
you're not playing a full-on SEC schedule either, so.
No, you're not, but you face some big teams. You'll face some better teams.
If that day comes, we'll cross that bridge then.
Yeah, obviously, and one more thing, Clemson, Colorado joining the Pac-12. We had a lot of teams moved from the Pac-12 as well. Mm-hmm. Bryson, Colorado getting all these recruits. Are they just going to dominate the Pac-12 now? I don't know all the teams in the Pac-12. Or, first, Preston, get your thoughts on that before Bryson speaks.
Well, I've done a lot of the speaking so far. I'll let Bryce go first.
Go ahead, Bryce. What's your thoughts on Colorado? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of hype around it. I was telling Chris earlier before we started, 51 transfers to Colorado this year. I don't know. I don't know what Deion's thinking. I kind of wish he stay, in HBCU. I kind of like, building those programs back up, but he's coming to some, whole different type of game of football, more competitive, but I can see them going 6-6 probably,
Do you have any thoughts on the other moves, going on in college football right now?
I like it. I really do. I like to see, I like to see Clips come to SEC, because they can play some real football finally, but, like Press said earlier, all the traveling back and forth, I think that's going to maybe be a little wear and tear on the teams a little bit. But besides that, I kind of like it.
Because I believe I did read, their SEC's going to have they're going to have to add some teams. I'm guessing that they will add some teams are going to move to the SEC, regardless, if I'm not mistaken. Does anybody know?
Well, yes, there's going to be some schools specifically in the ACC that's going to be more fit for the SEC than others, and not just looking at it as football. I know this is a predominantly college football show right now, but the SEC is other things than football, and they're going to look at it to what bolsters their conference as a whole. And really, for them, as good of a team for football as Clemson is for the SEC, they're already in the South Carolina market with South Carolina. Some other markets that they're not, as strong in would be North Carolina, Virginia, and those schools would be North Carolina, Virginia. I just said it. UNC, Virginia, NC State, those kinds of schools. They have a really good academic record with them. They bring new markets, for college football, other recruiting grounds for other sports also. And like I said, one of the biggest things for these conferences when they really look at bringing new schools is the academic achievements that they might bring through their conference as a whole. And so as much as I think we're looking at it as a football standpoint, it would, have to be other things on their checklist for them to bring other schools in. So, that's pretty much what that is.
Gotcha. And while we're on the topic, Colorado, do you guys think Colorado is going to come in and do really, really well?
No, not this year.
Not this year.
No, you have other,
I haven't really looked at their schedule or anything too much, so I didn't know.
But there's other schools. There's other schools in the Pac-12 right now that are still pretty good. You got Oregon, UCLA, USC. Those schools are still in the Pac-12 this year. They're still really talented. I'd honestly look at the Pac-12 right now and say it's going to be really tough for anybody to beat USC and Oregon. I think those two schools are going to run it, and Utah's still there too.
Yeah, and they did talk. Speaking of USC, they did talk about. Saw something about Caleb Williams being compared to Patrick Mahomes.
I like it.
Yeah, he is good. Caleb Williams is good, but I don't know if you can be compared on that level. I could be wrong, but let's move on from the conference talk a little bit. Let's talk about it was a few weeks ago, John Harbaugh getting suspended. What was it for? John Harbaugh, the suspension?
Mm-mm.
No? You didn't know about it?
Jim Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh, same damn thing. One of them's at Baltimore Ravens, one of them's at Michigan. I like John Harbaugh. Anyway, what was he? He was suspended for multiple level infractions, having practices with too many coaches, recruiting violations, whatnot, COVID-19, something. But anyway, recording practices. Bryson, any thoughts on Harbaugh being suspended? I don't know if you're a big Harbaugh fan. I'm a big Harbaugh fan.
I'm not really. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never really looked into that, to be honest. It is what it is. You break the rules, you're gonna get punished. That's the whole thing I really got to say about that.
Those are self-imposed, if I'm not mistaken, are they? Those are self-imposed infractions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, has there? So he's been. Did they announce a suspension? Did they say? Was it something? Did they say a couple games?
I don't know if the NCAA. Yeah. I think the NCAA started looking into stuff, and that was like off the top layer. So that's what always gets me thinking: if somebody's into self-imposed infractions on themselves in their school, what are they hiding? If you're so like, oh, you know what, I was wrong. Let me take my suspension. Here you go. What else is there that we're not looking into right now? But he's taking a couple games off the front. Look at the front of their schedule. I don't know off the top of my hand, but they're going to be cakewalk kind of games. So they should be fine. They should be 4-0 when he comes back.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't look too much into it either. I just kind of saw it, and I'm a big Jim Harbaugh guy. I thought it was big news, and I saw some Ohio State fans chirping at Michigan and whatnot. So I thought, it's a big story going on. But something else, kind of off topic here, but I think something Bryson's looking forward to. Swamp King's coming August 22nd. I'm kind of excited for it, not being a Georgia fan, but Bryson, you get to see some good football. Yeah. You get to relive your past. What's your thoughts on that?
Forrest says Jim drinks Milkwood State. That's a sicko.
Who is Jim?
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, where is it? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Jim.
But yeah, Swamp Kings I can't wait for that. That's when Gators were on top. Tebow. It's gonna be really interesting how you had pretty much a preacher leading a team of convicts. So it's gonna be a good show.
Preston, I know you're a Clemson guy, but the trailer, it does look interesting. I just thought, Bryson's a Florida fan. I had to bring it up. Are you looking forward to that on Netflix or anything? Do you watch?
I'll definitely watch it. It'll definitely be something I'll keep an eye on. I enjoy all things sports, so it doesn't have to be Clemson related for me to be able to enjoy it.
I don't know, man. Dude, I be see Clemson, I be see posting Clemson soccer team or something, saying they won or something. I haven't watched. I've never watched a day of soccer unless it's World Cup. No offense to people that watch soccer.
It was what you're referring to is the national championship game where they won.
Oh, God, here we go.
Best soccer team.
Best college of all time.
Yeah, are they the best soccer team? And
best college football team right there, I guess, technically.
Geez. Is there any other topics we need to talk about before we get into our schedules? I know, like I said, we're looking forward to the season. Or anybody had we always do a rant. Did anybody have a rant for the week of the off season? I know I did, but I'm not going to bring it up. And there's a few rants.
No drive-throughs this year.
Yeah. Okay. I'll bring it up. It's short. I have a video. I probably could post a video in here, but damn, I went to. It's not going to be a good rant, but I did go to Hardee's. I don't know if I think this was the off season.
Who eats at Hardee's?
It's right by my house. It is right by my house. It is right by my house, and I have one right by where I work. Anyway, right by my house. Pulled into Hardee's. I always get a sausage biscuit. Didn't feel it that day. Got a chicken biscuit. Got up to the window, ordered my chicken biscuit. Got there. Got a large drink. I did get a large, I think, Coke or something with it. And handed the lady a $10 bill. She said 14 cents. She said 14 cents or something like that. And I said, 14 cents for what? She said, it's 10.14. I said, 10.14 for a damn chicken biscuit combo. You got to be kidding me. I mean, that was ridiculous. That was my biggest rant this offseason. 10.14, and the bitch was raw. Excuse me. I ate it, and I did get sick later on the next day. I did get a little sick. I'm not gonna lie. It did mess up my stomach. It was raw. I got halfway. I did eat the thing. I ain't gonna lie. I did not notice. I did not notice. But I will never go to Hardee's and order chicken 10.14. That is ridiculous. I don't know if I got like scammed or what. Had A-Town wings for dinner. How about it, Stu?
Yeah, all right. Stu
there he is.
here.
Oh, Stu.
Yeah.
Hey, you can see Stu on the Brandon Walker football podcast.
Yeah.
Call it in. That's what we need. We need call-ins. Hey, Jim said he'd give us a Steed's Dairy line one day. We could get a Steed's Dairy line in here. We need some call-ins. But, yeah, that's my rant. I wanted to bring that up just because. But let's get into the schedules. Who wants to go first? Whose schedule we want to do first?
Oh, we got to let Clemson go
all right,
first.
We'll let Clemson
go. Best school, so we got to let Clemson go first.
We'll let Clemson go first. We ain't got to go through all the games.
I have been nothing but nice. I haven't taken shots, and this is what I get in return.
I know you.
Let the guy go first. Let the Clemson go first.
All right. Before we look at some of the schedule, I know they're probably going to be facing Harlem High School and Greenbrier and whoever else they're going to be playing. And Georgia is too this year a little bit. But anyway, just overall thoughts. I know you did, but overall thoughts, on the season ahead.
I think it's going to be a solid season. I think, we're breaking in a new offensive coordinator, breaking in some new assistant coordinators. What does Alabama call them, where they're like assistants, but they're not being paid, but they're going to get a job the next year? It's just an all brand new offense that we're going to be, having with this new offensive coordinator we got. So I'm excited to see what's going to bring. I think it's going to be a couple weeks of maybe, tough quarters or two. And then I think it's going to hopefully get on. And thankfully for us, the first part of our schedule is pretty easy. I think the biggest and only tough game I think we should theoretically have on our schedule comes week 4. Florida State comes to town. That could be the first of 2 matchups for the year of us.
Florida State's supposed to be pretty good, don't they? They still got that running quarterback.
Yeah,
lock of the year. FSU winning the ACC. Lock of the year.
Florida State, best school in Florida.
So
right.
So Clemson got Hartman this year, if I'm correct. Did they get? Is that the one team?
No, he went to
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Who did Clemson get at quarterback? I'm sorry.
We've got Kay Klubnik.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking of the young kid. You like that? You like the new young kid, correct? You got?
Yeah. No, I definitely think he fits the kind of offense style that the new coordinator is going to bring, and it's a lot different from DJ Uiagalelei, who's more of a pocket
what
passer.
Happened to him? I saw something about him was going to.
He got drafted. Yeah, he got drafted.
Play baseball. Yeah, that's what it was.
But he's not playing baseball.
I tell you,
he got drafted.
Hey, I know this is not an NFL show, but I tell you who's going to be playing baseball next year: Kyler Murray, because he is not going to be a quarterback. I said 3 years ago or 2 years ago, Kyler Murray will be playing baseball in 3 years. So
are we sure Russell Wilson's not going to be on the same boat?
Yeah, but Russell Wilson's older and he's won a Super Bowl, so he's not. He ain't going to play. I mean, if he does, it'll be after he retires. But yeah, let's go through some of the schedule here, Preston. So obviously, we ain't got to go. So you got them finishing 3-0 first few games. I'm guessing Duke, Charleston Southern, Florida Atlantic. Is Florida Atlantic any good? I know sometimes they're good. I don't know if they're any good or not. But they start out on the road at Duke week 1, win the first 3 games. Florida State, I want to say it's a toss-up game, to be completely honest. So Florida State's as good as everybody says they are, and I think they are really, really talented. Mario Cristobal actually has a very, very good team for them. Is that the coach for them? Or actually, you think he's Miami? I can't. Yeah, that's Miami's coach. I can't even think.
I definitely think they have a solid chance to win that game.
They still got Jimbo, no? Or is Jimbo gone?
Jimbo's at A&M.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking Jimbo got a big contract at A&M. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I don't know. Hey, it's a long off season, boys. We got to get in the groove here. All right, let's go to so you got Florida State. That's the toughest game. It's a home game, though, so you're not playing at Florida State.
All of our tough games this year are home games except for the last game of the year.
I'm going to run that pretty good that night. That's all I got to say.
Isn't Syracuse not that? I don't know about Syracuse, but hey, that's not
They've given us struggles for the last 5 years.
At Syracuse, I mean, the Big Orange. I mean, Clemson, that could be a tough game for Clemson. You never
Very
know.
well could
Is
be.
Clemson's defense any good this year? I know you
Yes.
were all raving about their defense last year.
Yes,
So.
their defense is going to be legit. They've got one of the best linebacker duos in all of college football this year. So I think it should be pretty good on defensive side.
Usually your toughest game here, you got Wake Forest. You got them at home.
Yeah, but it's kind of lost luster with their quarterback leaving for Notre Dame.
Yeah. Miami's always, you never know. They always have high hopes.
Overhyped.
What do they have a preseason ranking? I didn't really look at the preseason rankings.
Not yet.
We are going to do our top 25 here somewhere before the season, but yeah. And then we got. I mean, that's a little tough stretch of games there. You got Miami, NC State, and Notre Dame. I don't know how I know NC State's kind of
on the road at NC State. They we are technically one of their bigger rivals. It's the Textile Bowl. They play us tough every single year, so we'll see. They definitely have a good team. They beat us in overtime 2 years ago in NC State, so we'll see. They're going to be a tough, gritty opponent.
You see, you guys are kind of getting favored here on some of these games here. You got Notre Dame at home. I mean, you get these home games on your big games.
Because they're the Clemson freaking Tigers. They should be.
That's some bull crap. Notre Dame could be a good team this year, though. I don't know. I know they got. I've always liked Sam Hartman. As much as I hate Notre Dame, I can't stand Notre Dame. I'd rather see Clemson win the national championship 3 times in a row. I don't know. With Preston being around now, and we go back and forth, I don't know. I don't know about 3 times in a row, but 2 times in a row than seeing Notre Dame win 1. But anyway, Notre Dame, that's going to be a tough game towards the end of the season. Georgia Tech, I don't know if Georgia Tech's any good anymore. I know they run the option. North Carolina, that's always good. Get them at home too. I mean, North Carolina. I like old Sam Howell, who went to the NFL. He's on Washington. He's actually going to get the starting job this year. How about that? And you finish it off with a team that, the team that could be good, Beamer Ball, and at South Carolina too.
Yeah, they could realistically could finish.
Didn't they lose to them
9-3?
Didn't they lose to them?
Carolina beat last year.
Oh.
Yeah, we lost to them last year. They beat us in Tennessee in back-to-back weeks.
Gotcha. So Preston, some tough games in here. Like I said, Carolina, you got some tough games. What's your prediction record wise? I mean, coming in.
Realistically, I want to say 10-2, hopefully 11-1. But the 2 games that I'm predicting that will give us fits. One of them is going to be to the team. If we go 11-1, we'll repeat to play them in the ACC championship game, and that game could be for a spot in the playoffs. And the other team was the South Carolina game, just because it's in South Carolina. They've got some hope and juice again. And if they're playing good, it really doesn't matter if they're a 1-11 or 1-10 going into that game playing us. They beat us last year. It's in South Carolina. They're definitely going to give it their best shot, and that's a rowdy bunch. I have a lot of respect for the football team and the fans. I love they give them hell for as much as I can, but it's a great stadium, and then their student section sitting right there in the end zone. So if they've got a shot at it, you're going to hear about it for a good little bit.
Any shot at national championship? I mean, do you have? I mean, obviously you want to say yes, I know, but what do they have to do to compete for a national title?
The wide receivers have to step up 100% in the offensive line. I think if the wide receivers and the offensive line step up and give Cade some time to throw the ball, I think the defense, if they stay healthy, and all the other things fall into place, I think they're a competitive team. Do I realistically think we have a chance to run the table and win a national championship this year? Probably not. Obviously the fan in me hurts to say that, but I mean the team's it's still really young on the offensive side. The defense is a little on the older side, and they're seasoned and ready to go. But there's a lot that has to work for that to happen. And you got other teams like Georgia out there, and Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. There's a lot of really good teams out there this year that they would definitely match up really well against us.
Gotcha.
Now, I do got to say this one thing about Clemson. Did not know the $2 bill was a thing for y'all.
You didn't know that?
Did not know that. So I went.
I got a couple in my room right now.
Was at work. I helped a guy load some lumber in his truck. He said, "Here you go. Here's a tip." I looked at it. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do.
Did not know that was a thing down there.
Yep.
But also, you said earlier, going at Carolina's going to be a tough game. Shout out to my boy Graham. He took me last year to Carolina and A&M game, and let me tell you, son, that place was absolutely
You
rocking.
watched they ran the kickoff.
Yeah,
first
they
play.
ran the kickoff bat the first play, and they got a fumble, scored off of that. But I can agree with Preston. I can see y'all going level 1, 10-2. I can see y'all losing to Florida State. And I mean, Notre Dame's iffy. I'm a big fan of Hartman. I don't know if he can put that whole team on his back, but I think realistically, I think y'all only loss should be against Florida State this year.
Because Notre Dame's got the new guy. He's going into
Marcus Freeman.
He's going into second year, correct?
Yeah, second full season. He was there for the bowl game 2 years ago when he left for the LSU. But they've got a really good defense. He's a defensive-minded coach, so
that's what I thought. I know they got more than just the quarterback. That's what I said. I think Notre Dame's
a veteran quarterback coming in a little on the younger side. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I could see, like I said, few losses on the schedule. Like I said, Florida State, Notre Dame, Carolina, some tough games, some coin tosses. I at least see 2, in my opinion. But like I said, you're the Clemson guy. You maybe you never really know till the college football starts and you see that first game. You got new recruits coming in and whatnot, and freshmen and whatnot. You never know, they could be a whole different team than previously. So.
I mean, like, I don't know what y'all call it when y'all have that inter squad meetup. Ours is orange versus blue. Just let you know, our score was 10-7 in that game. So buckle up, Gator Nation. That's all I got to say. Give it a couple years, we're gonna be all right. But this year, everybody wants to fire Billy Napier already. People don't look at the recruiting class we have. I mean, we're third for next year. Let's see. This year we're 13th. 18 4-stars, and we got DJ Langway coming. 24, we're third. We got 2 5-stars, 12 4-stars. I mean, I hate seeing people already, online. They were saying Florida's going 10-2, 11-1. I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand how they see it, but buckle up.
Yeah, well, let's get into that. Let's talk about some of Florida's schedule here. Bryson, big Florida fan. Obviously, he had some rough years. What they finish last year? What was the record? 6-6, 5. I wrote it down.
6-7.
6-7. Florida. Obviously, we got to go to the Florida-Georgia game. That was a blast. Old Stu was there too.
Yeah, shout out Stewart.
Shout out to Stewart. But yeah, they open up the season at Utah on Thursday night this year.
Just like last year, Utah came to us, and now we're going to Utah. We should have lost that game last year. We are going to lose the game this year. Not good for us. We'll go to the next game.
Hold on. Time out. You got Anthony Richardson going to the NFL. Before we get into anything, I want to keep, Anthony Richardson's getting some. How about them dogs, Stu? We'll get to the dogs in a second. Like I said, I'm not as big college football, so my knowledge is not as much as these two. But how about them dogs? Dogs are going to roll again. I'll let you know in a second. But anyway. Anthony Richardson going to the NFL, going to the Colts, getting drafted. I mean, he had, that we didn't get to talk about this top, number 1 pick possibly. Yeah. Do you think he's going to do good in the NFL? I mean, he has traits, where you.
Like I told you earlier this week, we were talking. I'm not a big NFL guy, but this year I'm gonna play fantasy football with all the guys, and I think he's gonna be good at fantasy score. I mean, I think he's going to have like that little Cam Newton stretch when he was good for a couple of years in NFL. That's what I think about.
I could see the good. I see the good games, and I see the really, really bad games. That's what I see.
I can see the 4-3 interception games.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I see that as well. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because he's getting some hype, I believe, but he's in a battle with Minshew or somebody right now for the starting job here. But obviously, Florida's going to get a win here next game at McNeese. I don't even know who. I don't know who McNeese is.
Lakeside.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. You're playing Tennessee, game 3. 2 tough games start out the season. Tennessee. I don't know how good Utah is this year, but Tennessee. What?
The only good thing.
Blowout or what you think?
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, I got it written down right here. My highs of the watch already. Joe Milton, Cannon. He's a gunslinger. He is going to tear our defense apart in the secondary. I mean, only good thing for us is at home. The Swamp does get a little bit loud. And we're building a new stadium. I don't know where we're getting the money from, but it's probably from Swamp Kings. But building a new stadium. But Yeah,
Wait,
the
y'all
whole
are getting a
thing-
new stadium, or you're just renovating?
I think it's a whole brand new stadium.
For real?
Shout out to the Florida
Anybody
Gators.
fact check that? Tell us about the Florida's quarterback situation.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you. Hey, I can,
Stu asked that.
So-
Hey, if you are in the podcast, if you're listening to it, we do have questions live on YouTube, so we're going through that.
So Billy has not came out and say who our starter is going to be. I can't remember his first name, but I know his last name was Kenta. Did beat the charges for the child pornography. I mean,
He laughed. Okay.
he took a plea, found guilty, but he's not on the roster for this year. We got Jack Miller, Graham Mertz, transfer from oh goodness, was it Wisconsin or Nebraska? Jeez, I forgot.
Anyway,
But one of
keep
those
going.
teams, it hasn't said. But I think Graham Mertz is going to be the starter. But we do got freshman redshirt last year, Max Brown. Had good numbers of high school, 250 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, 1,400 rushing yards, 20 rushing touchdowns. That was his senior year. But yeah, like I said, no quarterback. The strong thing about our team this year is going to be our run game. We got Trevor Etienne. He's going to be hopefully our starter. He's going to be a sophomore this year, but like I said, no quarterback at the moment.
Gotcha. Let's get into some other games. Charlotte, I don't know much about Charlotte. You got a win there at Kentucky. I don't know. Kentucky's been, you can see Kentucky play good in some good, games, some big games. You can see them, Kentucky not be so good. They obviously lost Will Levis. He's going into the draft. I forgot. Will Levis went to somewhere. I forgot. Anyway, anybody know?
I couldn't tell you, boss.
Did he go to the Colts too? I don't know. Anyway, Will Levis went somewhere. If anybody can remember in the chat, please let me know. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Kentucky. I mean, you always lose.
It's just like Clemson and Syracuse. It's always a battle in the churches for them. I don't understand. So I got us an L there. Never going to Vanderbilt. We're not losing to Vanderbilt back to back. I'm telling you that right now. We put that lock of the year too. We're not. That has to be a dub for us. And then we got Carolina. Another L.
You got two games right here. So you got two games. You got at Carolina, October 14th, and then on CBS at 3:30, you got Georgia. You're playing at home, well, in Jacksonville. Sorry, against Georgia. Blowout.
Yeah, like I said, this is all rebuild. I'm not expecting anything really good for Florida this year. There's a lot of rebuilding.
You got a tough stretch here of games to finish off the season. You had, like I said, at Carolina, at home versus Georgia. Arkansas, you got to win. I don't know. Arkansas usually, can be good. I don't know much about Arkansas this year. I don't know if you got the win there, though. I think Arkansas fell off towards the end last year. I think they were ranked early, and then they ended up falling off. At LSU, I'm hearing big things from LSU this year. I'm hearing big things. I don't, know too much, but I'm hearing everybody likes LSU to win. Did they beat Alabama last year? Correct?
Yes, because they won the conference finals. So yeah. I can see them winning the West again. Then we're going to Missouri. That's a dub. There's no problem. But this is a tough pill to swallow right here. This very last game.
You'd like to go to this game? I think y'all were talking about one time. Well, anyway,
Florida State is going to be the real deal this year, and they are going to murder us. Granted, it's at home again. Jordan Travis, another Heisman to watch right there for you. He's going to pick up part of our defense. Like I said, our defense the past couple of years has not been that great, but I got us going 5-7 or 4-8. Like Stu just said, the Arkansas game is 50-50.
So it's going to be tough, yeah. And I agree. You never know about Arkansas. Arkansas could come, play. Arkansas is one of those teams, kind of like Florida, kind of mid-battle teams. You all right, Preston? Okay. You were like, make sure. Got that big boy QB KJ Jefferson back. Yeah, KJ Jefferson. Arkansas. Yeah, he was good. You're right. Didn't he get injured towards the end of the season last year? I could be correct.
I think ankle or leg injured.
Yeah, KJ Jefferson. I believe they played. Yeah, I like Jefferson last year. Yeah,
that's a good call.
Good call, Stu. I forgot about Jefferson though. But yeah, let's get into. We're going to go Alabama schedule too. We're going to try to keep this within an hour. We try to do the podcasts within an hour here, but I'm going to go to Georgia's schedule here. Obviously, back-to-back champions coming for the three-peat. I mean, before I go through here, I mean, Preston, any thoughts on Georgia this year? I know everybody's saying they're having a cupcake schedule, whatnot. I understand. I mean,
Not their fault.
Yeah, well, yeah, but we can't be hypocrites here. We do say Clemson.
I was about to say, I was like, not their fault. Oh, that's about to say that's real.
That's what Clemson said. That's Clemson. I mean, that's Preston's line every year. So
I was about to say, don't you start with me on that one now.
But
I'll die on that hill.
Any thoughts? But just before I go through the games a little bit, any thoughts on Georgia coming into the season?
I mean, yeah, they're the hottest thing since sliced bread. I mean, they've got the best head coach right now in college football. Got a great recruiting class every single year, it seems like. I mean, they're absolutely loaded on both sides of the ball, special teams as well. So I'd be very surprised if they don't go 12-0 and then 13-0 to go into the playoffs. Very good team.
Gotcha. Bryson, before we get in, any thoughts on Georgia going into the year?
Lad McConkey is going to have a season. That's all I'm saying. That man is a beast. Him and Brock Bowers, that duo right there is disgusting. Brock Bowers, he could be, I think he's already on the top 5, Heisman watch already. But give me Lad McConkey having a great season this year.
Have we ever seen a tight end win the Heisman? Am I just missing it somehow, or am I just not thinking of it?
I thought there was one in the conversation, but
McConkey.
Yeah, but I thought there was one in the conversation one year, but I don't know if any of them ever won. I mean, dude, Brock Bowers. I mean, I was watching stuff. I mean, that dude, he's the animal. He's going to tear up the NFL. I'm telling you right now. If I'm an NFL and I need a weapon, I don't give a damn if I need a tight end or receiver. I'm drafting, if I'm drafting a tight end or if I'm drafting a weapon early, I'm drafting Brock Bowers.
He's the second best tight end in this year, 100%.
Dude, I mean, he's going to be an animal in the NFL. I believe. I mean, no matter. I mean, he's going to be. It's going to be ridiculous. He's
not better than Kyle Pitts in college.
You guys, like I said, I'm looking forward to this season. I'm not too, Carson Beck obviously is coming out as a starter, I believe, right now. Is going to be the starter. I haven't watched too much Carson Beck. I don't know. Stu said, Tennessee will likely most be game of the year. We'll get into that. Yeah, that's going to be a great game. I mean, here, depending on Tennessee's defense. But, yeah, I mean, y'all say tight end. I mean, the dude might be the best weapon in college football. I mean, he's just an animal. But, yeah, Georgia got some good young quarterbacks. The one that he played 2A ball, I always thought maybe he would come in, not Vandergrift, but Gunner. Was it Gunner? I believe it was Gunner Stockton. One of them transferred anyway. But I always thought he was going to come in and be good. I mean, he was 2A. I remember watching him before they were almost played Thompson here in the 2A, one of the playoff games, but they ended up not. Thompson ended up getting knocked out. But let's get into the games here. Obviously, UT Martin. What do you know? I mean, we might go to that game. We're talking about going to that game. We got a local here, John Quavius Brown, who played at
Grovetown High School. Played
for Ventura. If I'm not mistaken, he's playing at UT Martin now. We're talking about going to that game to see him play. He's had some commits when he went to Greenbrier and Grovetown. Was a very good running back in high school. We'll see what he can do. But, yeah, obviously I got Georgia winning that game. Ball State.
Ooh.
I don't know if Ball State's any good. Stu, you might know. I'm taking Georgia there. We don't need to get 2-0 for Georgia. Carolina, some games I struggled this year. Carolina, obviously 8-5 last year. I mean, Carolina's just getting better. I mean, I believe that's going to be a tough game. Georgia obviously is. I don't know. They beat Carolina. How many last few years? It's been
3 years.
3 years, yeah, 3 years. And Georgia's won the last, I believe, 29 out of 30 games. They won their last 29, I believe, something like that. But Georgia against Carolina, I got Georgia winning, but I could see this being a tougher game. I mean, you don't know about Georgia. Obviously lost a lot. I mean, they got half the defense on the Eagles now. I mean, a lot of the older guys. I mean, obviously the coaching, and they still got other players that are going to play and defense step up. One thing I want to say is Georgia got the receiver from Missouri, Dominic Lovett. I remember watching him a little bit in Missouri. I know Missouri sucks, but he was good. I like Lovett. I like that as a weapon for Georgia. I don't know if he's going to be in the offense, but I did like Lovett. I wanted to say that. No clue on Ball State, says Stu. Thank you, Stu. Anyway, UAB, Josh had that being Georgia's losing last year, I believe, and that ended up being a shit show. Georgia dominated. They got Georgia 4-0 at Auburn. I mean, Auburn, they got the new coach, Freeze. I believe he's going into his first full year. I don't know if did he coach some last year. Hugh Freeze, did he coach a few games last year? I know he.
Not at Auburn.
Not at Auburn. Okay. Yeah, well, he's coming in with a new coach, so maybe Auburn comes to play. I mean, it's at Auburn, you never know. But Georgia, like I said, not a lot of tough games this year. They don't have to play anybody out of the West.
What is that? The oldest rivalry in the Southeast?
What's that?
Is Auburn and Georgia like the oldest rivalry in the Southeast? I think.
Could be wrong.
Something like that.
Look for Freeze to turn Auburn around, Stu. That's why I marked it down. Auburn, haven't looked good the last couple of years, but you never know. Coming in with a new coach, it could change everything. I mean, new coach could make everything go worse, or it could change it for the better. But still, I mean, Georgia's hard to beat, man. Georgia's going to be, especially some of these games. But I mean, it could. People don't realize Bennett might have been better than what people say it was. I mean, they're already saying in the NFL he's getting the backup position and he signed a pretty good contract. So he's already the backup for Stafford, and he looks pretty good. So I mean, people don't realize how much that quarterback could change it. I mean, I know we got some other guys, but Stu says Deep South oldest rivalry at Kentucky. I always circle that game. I mean, Kentucky's always a tough team. I mean, SEC East. Matchup. Never know with that game, but I got Georgia winning. I think Georgia's going to be too dominant there. Vanderbilt. If we lose to Vanderbilt, I probably won't watch the rest of the season. I'll be honest there.
It was a tough one. Let me tell you for last year.
Florida. I mean, would like to go to that game again this year, but I don't think we're going to make it. But Georgia should handle business. I hope. I would hope Georgia handles business.
No problem.
Missouri, easy games. I mean, Georgia don't really have a tough stretch. I mean, their toughest stretch here is Carolina, Auburn, Kentucky. To finish the season now, after Missouri, they got Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is probably no good, but you never know. I mean, that's 3 games that, I don't know much about Ole Miss. I believe they finished 8-5 last year. Ole Miss, you never know. I mean, those are some tough games. And at Tennessee, I think Tennessee – going to be good. Obviously, always the question is Tennessee's defense. I like Bryson said. I like Joe Milton. I mean, I like Tennessee's offense. I mean, you never know. I mean, towards the end of the season, Georgia should be going into that game undefeated. I hope they're going into that game undefeated. Like Stu said, that could be game of the year. At Tennessee, I mean, it's going to be. I mean, if both teams are undefeated going into that game, I mean, it's going to be loud.
Rocket time.
It is going to be loud. And then
Did you see that thing where it was like somebody sold the Georgia Tennessee tickets for like $5? I don't know if it was real or not, but I thought if that's real, that's hilarious.
So I mean, but I do got Georgia. I'm hoping Georgia finish undefeated. I'll say I got Georgia going undefeated. If they do fall, I think they're going to fall at the end of the season to Tennessee. And I always hate losing those games at the end of the season because it's kind of, messes you up. Playoff, yeah. I always hate losing those games. I would rather lose early in the season, which is probably not possible for Georgia unless they lose against Carolina.
I kind of feel like, if you lose that game at the end of the season and you win your conference, you're kind of locking that 4 spot in for you. You know, that's the way I kind of –
obviously, the good thing for Georgia the SEC East is not, I guess, besides Carolina, is not super strong. So they should handle that over there. But I mean, I don't know if I got Georgia winning that. You can't really say that going into the year. I'm hoping Georgia wins the national championship, but going through a quarterback change, going through a lot of moves. Obviously, I like Kirby Smart. They got the kicker from Lakeside too. Lakeside kicker. I don't think he's going to play, but do like him. Will Hadaway. But Bulldogs, go Dogs. I hope they do well. Like I said, could see them losing in the season, but we'll see. Stu, if you have a prediction for the Dogs, I'm probably sure you're going to say 12-0, but if you got predictions, throw it in the chat. We're going to go through Alabama's schedule real quick, and then we're going to hop off. So Josh is not here. We'll let him get his say in on Alabama. But let's look at Alabama's schedule. I mean, I haven't paid attention to Alabama's offseason, I ain't going to lie. too much. Obviously, they don't have Bryce Young no more, but Preston, I mean, do you expect Alabama to be, as dominant, be dominant this year, or?
Yeah, 100%. I think they're going to be as good, if not better, they've been the last couple of years. I think they're kind of it takes a year or two to kind of, get these new coordinators kind of going. And Alabama's, changing out coordinators, what it seems like every season, because they get other jobs. I mean, people want to hire them as bad as possible. Looking at their Alabama schedule, they've got like a tough 4 to 5 week span right there at the middle to the tail end of their season. At A&M, Arkansas at home, then Tennessee at home, then LSU at home, and then Kentucky at home on the road. So there's like a 4 to 5 week period where they got to be firing on all cylinders right there to kind of get out of that undefeated. To finish the season on the road at Auburn, again, doesn't matter. Just like South Carolina, doesn't matter like Florida State or Georgia Tech. Not so much Georgia Tech. The team could be 0-11 playing you into that rivalry game, and they're going to give everything they got. And I think that's obviously going to be a good matchup there. But realistically, I see Alabama probably going 11-1. I have a hard time believing that they're going to get through that perfectly unscathed.
Gotcha. Bryson, any thoughts on Alabama going into your, obviously your favorite game in that second game against Texas?
Yeah, not a big Bama fan, but when it comes to facing Texas, you know how I feel about them, boys. There you go, Preston. Yeah, I mean, give me Alabama in that game. It's going to be interesting, Texas coming to an SEC school, see what South's all about, like I said, I could see them. It could be another nail biter, last year, we went to Josh's house and watched that game. All of us did last year, great time.
That was a lot of
fun. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee and LSU back to back. That's going to be 2 tough games for them, in my opinion.
That is terrible. That is all. I mean, even the other games. I mean, don't count out A&M. Don't count out Arkansas there.
Jimbo.
I mean, those are tough. That's a tough stretch of games. Even Kentucky. I mean, that's tough. Stretch.
I mean, the only I could see them finishing 10-2. To be honest with you, with this Tennessee and LSU back to back. Granted, they're both home games. Going Auburn. If Hugh Freeze can get that whole program turned around, before going into the last game, could be a little nail biter there. Could be unexpected loss for Bama. But give me Bama going 10-2. Like I said, there are 2 losses coming to Tennessee and LSU. Tough stretch right there for them.
Yeah, I mean, tough games. I mean, I could see them losing to Texas. I could see them losing to Tennessee, like you said. I don't know how good A&M is this year, but obviously, Jimbo Fisher's making them how much money? I mean, they ought to be somewhat. Dogs 3-peats. Say again, Preston.
Well, I had a quick question. Are we going to try and go to Josh's house this year and try to watch one at least days worth of games? Because if we do, we got to get Chris to get the wings again, since he had so much of a good time last year doing it.
Yeah. Forrest Hayes says in the chat, hey, 2024, Georgia got to play at Alabama and at Texas. So we got to – I agree with you, Forrest. That is a good point. But like I said, I could see Alabama. I mean, I would pick LSU probably to beat Alabama this year. Tennessee, tough games. I mean, do we know the quarterback? They got what is his name? Monroe?
Yeah, Monroe.
Does anybody know anything about him? I don't know.
I mean, he looked pretty decent when he came in towards the end of the season. Go ahead.
Thing about Bama is, I mean, they get these quarterbacks come out of nowhere to be superstars. I don't know much about him, Monroe's background. I thought I heard he was pretty good, and then they got some freshmen, I believe. So a couple freshmen back there, but I'm right now projected Milroe. I've never pronounced his name wrong. It's projected to be the starter, but it feels like Alabama always get. I mean, Mac Daddy Jones came out of nowhere, came in there. He was good. I say out of nowhere, and then they had Bryce Young. I mean, these guys didn't come out of nowhere. They're good recruits, but I mean, I feel like they'll figure that out. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I find it so crazy. They're so stacked at that quarterback position. I mean. Starter gets hurt, don't worry. Here goes another 5-star, coming in.
I can tell you right now, if he don't play good and he don't live up to high, I mean, either Saban's going to retire mid-season, or he's going to try somebody else. He'll put the running back there.
Now, I was going to say about, what's y'all's opinion on Nick Saban? How many years do you think he has left? I mean, are we seeing Bama starting to come on this decline past couple of seasons? Still having winning records, but they're not being that powerhouse that they used to be.
I think he wants another one before. I think he's doing everything he can to get another one or a few more before he retires, but I don't see him retiring not right now. I don't know how old was he, in the 70s? Am I wrong?
It's either 70s or late 60s.
Could you see him retiring, Preston, anytime soon?
No, I think he's probably got 3 to 5 more years. I mean, how old was the Kansas State or Kansas?
Didn't he? What was the contract he got? I mean, didn't Saban sign for a contract last year?
Honestly, I don't know if or not. That'd be a perfect question for Josh, but he'll be there for the unforeseeable future. He'll step away when he wants.
Josh will tell you everything about Alabama and everything. He'll probably come in and tell you either they're going to suck or he's going to tell you, hey, Alabama. He'll go give us a QB situation next week. Josh, we need you on here to give us your thoughts on Bama. If you're in the chat, the QB situation, maybe you know a little bit more. Stu says Saban just brought his retirement house in Florida here, so never know. But yeah.
So that means we're going to have Spurrier and Saban in 2029. Head coach and assistant coach.
I mean, I wonder who would go. I mean, obviously. I wonder who would be next in line for the. I don't know.
That's a good question to think about.
Next in line, like after Saban.
Who is the unlucky person?
They have to get somebody big after Saban.
Who is the unlucky person to take that job?
Whoever takes that job and they don't live up to the hype the first season, you're done.
Oh, they'll be fired mid-season.
Right, so I hate to say this. But what do we say? Like Kirby has a couple bad years. Could we see him going back to Alabama or no? No.
No, I think he's pretty much cemented his stay at Georgia. I don't think they're going to get.
What about Dabo? What about Dabo? Any chance? I mean,
if we move to the SEC,
I don't see him being an Alabama guy though.
I mean, he's from Alabama.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not.
He's from Alabama. He played at Alabama. He won a national championship at Alabama.
Clemson's on the decline. I'm sorry.
How about old Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
No. Hey, what about Ed Orgeron?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to coach no more though. I always see him having a lot of fun with all these.
Give me the over under 2.5 for Lane Kiffin. Players going to find out a party this year. Give me 2.5. That man, I can't. There's a couple coaches I can't stand. He's on that list.
All right, so we went through the schedules here. We're going to be back next week, hopefully sometime. I'll probably have this pod. If you're listening, watching on YouTube, podcast will be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, hopefully sometime tomorrow, maybe in the morning, sometime midday. So if you want to listen to it on there, make sure you follow on there. Make sure you like, subscribe here on YouTube. Next week, we'll probably be doing our top games for the year. And maybe some surprising teams, highs and watchings we haven't fully thought. But before the season, these next couple weeks, we're going to be trying to do some preview stuff for the season. Why does he keep saying Apple Podcasts? I'm so confused. But
I want to say two things. If you're in the area, Augusta area, check them out. Moody's Tire Service, great customer service, best tire people in Augusta. And also, if you have some time, we would really, really appreciate it. Go to youtube.com, Mulligans Unlimited. Check us out. That's our golfing channel. We appreciate y'all like and subscribing that.
Yeah, if you do like golf and people that somewhat are not that good at golf, and sometimes they have good days, sometimes they have bad days. We are there. We're there for the comedy. But yeah, gonna be a good season. We'll be back next week for the college. Another podcast here, depending on what we do. Like I said, top games of the year, whatnot. We're also gonna do the NFL show sometime next week as well. Hopefully, we're going to do predictions for each conference, each division.
Y'all better lock in. There's a new host this year for that.
Yeah, new host for the NFL. It's going to be me and Bryson on there. Whoever else wants to hop on. But appreciate you watching. Like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, and peace. All right, we're on. Appreciate you watching on YouTube. That'll be the
Apple Podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate you watching on YouTube. We're going to go. I got food in here waiting on me, so I'm going to go eat. Thank you. Hey, we're going to do this live on YouTube as much as we can. So whoever's in here, whoever can chat, whatnot, we like the chats. I like seeing the chats and stuff. You guys did a good job, Stu and Forrest. It keeps it involved, makes it more interesting. Apple Podcasts for us. It makes it more interesting. Yeah, hopefully we're going to be – I don't know. I got some – website I'm writing for, and he might post it on there, so we'll see.